Liam, what do fish and chips and lederhosen have in common? Absolutely nothing. But Silverstone was last weekend. Austrian Grand Prix is this weekend. The boys of BRZN are back. We did miss Silverstone last week, British GP.
We did, yes.
Unfortunate. I mean, again, our schedule is a little conflicted. We're still going to get the content to you guys. Might be delayed a little bit, but we're going to get it to you. Ferrari 1 and 2. Well, sorry, Ferrari win last weekend. Win this weekend. Back to back. Carlos Sainz, first ever career victory, first ever career podium in the same race last week in Silverstone in Britain. We'll go to that first. I think.
I'm down to talk about that because I feel like that entire race was iconic.
It was.
There were so many cool things that happened. We saw a car that flipped over.
Yeah, it's a joke on you.
It's not ever good, obviously, seeing a red flag that early in the race.
No.
Thankfully, he was okay, but there was some crazy footage.
Yeah, I saw a lot of things on Twitter.
We had fan footage.
I mean, good on, again, we've talked before about with the Grosjean crash and other things happening where they just show the pictures right away.
Yeah.
There was a lengthy delay.
I would say, how long did that safety car last? I think it was close to 25 minutes.
Yeah, so I was around a half hour.
He was in the car for a long time.
Yeah, and that was the issue, right? Because they didn't want to get the footage out. They didn't want to show the accident of what happened. They didn't want to put anything live out there because they didn't know what the circumstance was.
Yeah.
So good on, I don't know, if it's Sky
F1
Sports or F1 or whoever it is.
Wherever that stream comes from.
But yeah, Joguan Yu, crazy crash. Everyone must have seen it by now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, great on the stewards and everyone that was involved. What's it called there? The catch fence.
It's clearly a very useful barrier.
Yeah,
because I would say that majority of those fans, one, would have got struck by debris or possibly the car.
What's crazy to me too is that I mean they obviously take all precautions in F1 for the driver safety, fan safety, everyone. But if you look at it again, that runoff is so far away from the track. Plus you have the runoff, you have the tires and the catch fence. That far away from the track.
Plus the gravel. How long was the gravel trap?
Oh, he was going. I mean, the speed he was going,
flying around the gravel.
It didn't really matter too much.
Imagine going 165 miles an hour upside down.
No,
I couldn't even imagine that. Yeah, no,
that was only lap one.
That was bizarre, man. I think too, also a bunch of credit to the halo. Clearly, it's showing. Yep. I'm sure as everyone's heard on the watching the stream or listening to even podcasts earlier. We're obviously getting into it a little bit later, but people talk about the halo in Formula One, and that went to show how important it was because that guy's head, he would have looked like he would have been scalped.
Yeah, for sure.
No top. Even last year we saw with Verstappen and Hamilton and Imola, or not Imola, it was Monza when Verstappen went on top of Hamilton, crushed the halo, but Hamilton's head was fine.
And then obviously the year prior too with Grosjean.
And
it's for all the scrutiny it's gotten and all the backlash it's gotten over the years, drivers complaining about it, it's done more good than bad.
Clearly helped.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And definitely. I think all the drivers now are fully behind it, saying, this is a really good idea.
Well, dude, his head literally would have been pretty much he would have got out of the car and half of his head been
completely shaved off. Did you see in IndyCar they have a windshield?
It's a shield,
a windscreen, a windshield wiper.
It was actually great last year in the Indy 500. We're kind of getting off topic here, but I'll tell it. In the Indy 500, I think it was Connor Daly that was coming around, I think the second turn, and there was an accident or something. There was a car that went off, spun, and his tire flew off. Tires bouncing, and it hit his windshield. Bounced off his windshield. Ricocheted off his windshield. Wow. Which it could have been his head, and he would have been smushed.
Is it halo with them or just the windshield?
It's that windshield, but it's like a super thick plastic.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's
like
bulletproof.
It's
like bulletproof. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy. And for him to be be able to walk away from that and be able to partake in all the weekend festivities this week in Austria.
Yeah.
Good on the medical staff.
He was back at the track.
Yeah.
On lap 43.
Yeah, he was there.
You're like, oh, hey, there's Joguan Yu. The guy was upside down 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But to the actual racing action, like you said, about a half hour later, race resumed.
It was lap 4. Lap 4,
start.
I believe. Lap 4, yeah.
Another standing start, though, from the grid. And who got away quick? Was it
Carlos got a sign. Well, what they did was they didn't do the race restart as the track lied because they didn't finish a full racing lap.
That's right. So it was back to the
original formation, right?
Yeah.
So Sainz got ahead of Verstappen this time, pushed him into the wall. Verstappen eventually had to concede, and then you had Leclerc and Perez battling at the back. So then we were 4 abreast going into turn 4.
Crazy.
Leclerc and Perez made contact, both their front end plates. Perez later then he went to pit. Leclerc kept the entire race, no end plate. I'm surprised. I think when he pit after, I was thinking they were going to change his front wing, but they said, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it clearly shows the aero package difference, because if it wasn't affecting the Ferrari, clearly it was affecting the Red Bull, because Perez was tumbling down the order at that point, right?
Yeah, and to change his wing in that spot in the race too, he would have gone back at least 10 more seconds probably. So
yeah, and then we saw lap 10, Carlos Sainz made that mistake going into what's that winding? That winding,
I don't know.
Those winding Brooklands. Was it Brooklands? Might have been Brooklands. I'm not sure. There's so many cool names for them. I just don't remember. I don't remember any of them. Too. The Hamilton Straight, yeah.
We gotta brush up. We gotta remember refresh on some terminology.
It's okay. It's fine. Anyway, he went off at some point on lap 10 and just made a mistake. Verstappen came and took advantage of it, passed him, and then lap 12, 2 laps later, Verstappen hit a piece of debris, AlphaTauri debris. It turned out later. It was big too. It's probably the size of my laptop.
Yeah. No,
it was huge.
I saw a picture of holding it up.
Lodged inside of his the undercarriage of his car, and immediately slowed him down. He thought he had a puncture, but ended up being just loss of performance, no tire failure, nothing. And then from lap 12 to 39 on, nothing.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was
the
just
biggest news
pit
was Verstappen tumbling down the grid.
Yeah, he ended up finishing 7th in the race.
Yeah.
But then you had Leclerc. Team orders to pass Sainz, and up until that point, Leclerc was leading. It looked like it was going to be a nice steady win, 1-2 for Ferrari, and then Esteban Ocon safety car.
Yep. Unfortunate for the
Ferrari team,
team, and also for the Alpine, who's running a pretty good race. I think he was in the points, I believe. Mm-hmm. Just another power failure. We've seen it left and right now. We're getting to the midway point of the season, so we're starting to see more teams take penalties. Teams who are not taking penalties to get affected during the race with failures or just lack of performance. Like today, actually, the McLarens with Lando Norris. Mm-hmm. I think he has an old power unit from the beginning of the season still. He was that's why maybe he didn't have the best performance this weekend. But Alpine, for whatever reason, their power unit failed on lap 39, lap 40, whatever it was, and that kind of flipped the game back on its head again. And we talked about it before a little bit. Well, off camera. Talked about it a little off camera. It came out later that Ferrari had an 11-second window between, I don't know if it was between the actual
accident,
yellow flag caution, or when they saw the footage of Ocon slowing down.
Or was it 11 seconds between them and where the pit lane entry was?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was an 11-second gap between that, where Leclerc was on the track to the pit lane.
And 11 seconds in Formula 1 is
an eternity.
So long.
It's eternity.
So they had a lot of time to react.
And they didn't.
For Leclerc.
And another time that they just didn't do it. Ferrari getting the strategy wrong, maybe.
Yeah.
Leclerc, breezes past the pit lane, but then everyone behind him, Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Sainz, clearly. Alonso all got in the pit lanes, got new tires on. I think Lando did 2 pit stops or something. I don't know what happened with him. Mm-hmm. But look, and then by the time they came out of the next lap, he was already caught up by the next driver. He was
left out to dry. But I honestly think that with the pace that Ferrari had at Silverstone, they could have pitted and double stacked Sainz and Leclerc.
Yeah,
and
probably.
they still would have been able to win.
Yeah.
Because if you look, the Mercedes was pretty strong in Silverstone too. I'm going to give credit absolutely to the Mercedes team. Lewis Hamilton, he ran a great race. That was honestly when he passed Perez and Leclerc.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was probably one of my favorite moments in Formula 1 history, just because of the sheer exhilaration from the crowd.
Crofty on the call.
Crofty on the feed, depending on which one you guys watched. But it was just, I was even excited, and I'm not a Hamilton fan, but it was one of the coolest moments watching. The Mercedes had that nice silver dish on their rims. Mm-hmm. It was that for Silverstone, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But that was just cool. They ran a great race despite Russell. Even George Russell getting out of the car to make sure we didn't say anything about that. But
it was a good touch.
Class.
Yeah, a good touch on
class. Him. Mercedes definitely had. I think they had a chance to maybe even win that race at one point. I thought Hamilton was going to win at one point. When they had both the Ferraris pit.
If Sainz didn't make that pit stop, if Ferrari didn't call in Carlos Sainz, then Hamilton had that win in the bag.
I think so too.
Because Leclerc being on the older hards, he was going to get passed by anyone behind him pretty much, and he basically did.
Yep.
Starting P1 after the restart and finishing P4. Another time that Ferrari gets a strategy wrong, we can call it that.
I think.
mean, you can't say wrong because they still
No.
did get a win out of it, but
Yeah.
and
this is just
they could have done a probably P1, P2.
Yeah, I think this is just us too. Like we're looking at it, where it's like, from a fan's perspective, based off of the data that we get and gather, I think that Ferrari would have been fast enough if they would have double stacked them both on softs,
Most likely, yeah.
and then it would have been a Ferrari battle towards the end. But I think that leaving Leclerc out there after the race that he ran with no front one end plate on his left side,
Yeah, he did a hell of a job.
and he was on old hards at the end of the race competing with Perez and Hamilton. He ran a great race.
And
Yeah, it is nice to see Sainz's first win.
Mhm.
But at that point, it's like, guys, you need to be able to make these decisions. And like we said, this is coming down to the incompetence with Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a big missed opportunity for
And,
sure.
Like you got to look at your pace. They were definitely the fastest cars on track. So they would have had 12 laps, 10 laps maybe to make up to go to the front. But the cars are already bunched up. So even if they're in third and fourth place. Because look at where Sainz came out in the pit stop.
Yeah.
He was in second. Leclerc and him, they might have even still been at the front.
Yeah, no,
But
because
they
all
didn't
the
want
other
to give
cars
up
behind
track
them stacked,
position.
right?
But we saw what happened with track position last year in Abu Dhabi. Fuck the track position. If you're the fastest car,
Yeah, it's all about tires, really.
it is, absolutely.
Even in the race today, going from the possible one-stop strategy to two-stop because the tires were just getting worn away.
They were.
Tires are like really coming to huge play, obviously.
Yep.
And I think it's actually Martin Brundle, too, last weekend that made a good point. When you have Charles Leclerc as like your front runner clearly for the Ferrari camp to be their world champion for this season,
Yep.
he's the highest competitor to Max Verstappen.
Mhm.
When you have him, so when you have Max finishing P7, you have to have your next best guy winning the race.
Absolutely.
Or at least on the podium.
You need a 1-2.
Yeah.
You need a 1-2.
And for them to maybe play the strategy for Sainz because he had pole position in Silverstone, maybe that's why they're looking at it.
Yeah.
Kind of leaves Leclerc out to dry.
Yeah.
Could that come back and bite them in the ass in the end of the season? Because I forget how many points you get for P7. Like 3, 4?
I think it's only, it's very minimal.
So if
It's
you
very
win the
minimal.
race, that's a 22-point gap now
It's marginal.
in favor of
Absolutely.
Leclerc. And I
Absolutely.
think he only caught up 5 or 6 points by finishing in P4.
Yeah. Like we were saying in the podcast for what was it? We were talking about the teams where they messed up. It was the last podcast
Monaco?
we were talking Monaco, yeah. And it was just clear to see that the decisions that the team was making, and we don't know if it's Mattia, we don't know if it's the race engineers or whoever, the strategists. Clearly the strategists, let's put it that way, the strategists need to be looked. They need to start doing some picking in the Ferrari organization and the Ferrari team. They need to start pointing fingers and saying, look, man, we have had 2 races where we could have finished 1-2. 3 now, actually, at Spielberg.
Yep.
Okay, I understand that the engine failure today
It happens.
happens, but at the same time, these strategists need to be overlooked. They need to start thinking otherwise.
Yeah, no, I
Or
totally agree.
maybe the higher ups executives need to start making more of those decisions and then letting the strategists play, because we're getting to a point in the season where these points are all going to start mattering. Like we saw last year. It was Verstappen and Hamilton head to head at the end of the year.
Exact same amount of points.
Exactly. So what? And then Verstappen had 2 DNFs last year, right? One of them could have been, in Monza, could have been preventable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it, that race played such a big role towards the end of the year. So these races where Leclerc's finishing 4th and he wasn't finishing 3rd, that's the world championship.
Yep. It's a cliche thing to say, but every race matters, every point matters. It's
It
like
does.
every second in football matters. It's true. Every
It's
yard,
very true.
whatever you want to look
Basketball,
Yeah.
basketball, it's not over till it's over, man.
at. No, it's a game of inches in
Exactly.
football, and it's a game of just finishing in
Sorry.
good point positions in F1 and
Bang the gong.
not smashing your vehicle up.
Or your water bottle.
So yeah, so Silverstone, that was crazy. I mean, that was a very much a goosebump moment when Hamilton did go through.
Yeah.
It's probably
it was crazy.
like I was.
It's
It was
seared into my
the
brain.
Same, it wasn't the same on
Abu
edge moment
Dhabi.
that I was at Abu Dhabi, but
Yeah.
it was there. I was like gritting my teeth.
I
holding
honestly,
on
I
to the
didn't
chair.
even see it coming. And then I saw the onboard cam of Hamilton. I'm like, he's gonna make a double pass here, right in front of right at the pit straight,
I know.
right in front of all the
Right in front
fans.
of
You
the
hear the
home
British
crowd.
fans; they're all going crazy.
No, it was
Super
great.
cool.
It was a good time.
Cool moment for Formula One. Great moment for Carlos Sainz too, getting the win finally, which just
Yeah.
felt like an eternity.
150 races.
That guy has had the most up and down season, I think. Like even today, goes from winning Britain Silverstone Grand Prix last, and then today's engine just explodes on him. It actually blew up.
It did. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We're gonna have Frankie on, actually, guys. We're gonna be
Yes.
doing something similar to what we did last week, or 2 weeks ago.
Yep, we like the feedback you guys all gave, saying that Frankie was a good addition to the squad. So
Yep.
we'll get him in again for his Ferrari talk, and I'm sure he'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back-to-back Ferrari wins.
Yeah, that's big. Hometown hero.
Yeah, so I think, so last week, Silverstone, what was the final podiums? It was
Sainz,
Hamilton,
Perez, and Hamilton.
Yeah.
So that's your Silverstone talk, guys. We're sorry we didn't get you to get the race right after.
Yep.
But we're gonna log on with Frankie, and we're gonna talk about the Spielberg Grand Prix right now.
Yep.
Grand Prix, not Grand Prix. All right, guys. We'll see you. Welcome back, Frankie.
Hey.
Good to be back, boys. Good to be back.
That big stupid smile on his face.
So happy. What do you got?
Hey.
There it is.
Let's go.
Baby. Frankie, I need just give us your initial reaction, just like of Silverstone with Carlos getting his first win.
I have mixed emotions about both races. I'm very happy that Ferrari won, but we absolutely blew a 1-2.
That's exactly what we were saying.
This is the third. Well, okay, so today, you have DNF, but this is the third race this year that they blew a 1-2. Monaco, Silverstone, and Austria. I don't count it as blowing 1-2 because there's nothing he can do. Right, his engine blew up, but still possible.
What, Frankie? Is that his third power unit? Is he gonna have to take a penalty?
We're talking about it. Yeah, because that's his third DNF. But I mean, I don't know if it's his power unit.
I mean, that thing exploded.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah,
Something shot out of the side.
Actually blew up.
That was gross.
Look like what are those not pop rockets, but those
little things you put in your mouth.
Yeah, and they fucking explode everywhere.
It's a pop rock.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah, but no, it was overall it was like a super good race in Silverstone. I think it would have been nice to see Leclerc on board, because Andrew and I were saying that Leclerc is Ferrari's number one competitor towards Verstappen this year, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they've been since the beginning of the season, just kind of putting Leclerc in the best positions. But we were saying that we feel like there's some strategists need to be just absolutely roasting Ferrari.
Missed opportunity big time.
I agree. It's not the third race of the season. This is now the 10th race, 11th race. It's halfway through the season. The first three races, do what you want, let them fight. Yeah. But we're getting to where these races are important. Yeah. These points are getting important.
Yeah, they were talking today too about Leclerc. This is like his first win since Australia.
Yeah.
Which was so long ago.
2.5 months, 3 months ago.
That was so long ago. Feels like an eternity ago. Actually.
It does. He's had 4 or 5 bad races.
Yeah, and for strategy problems, right? So
yeah. Even last weekend, I know Hamilton had pace, but there's no reason why it shouldn't finish even 1-3. Even 1-3 would be perfect.
What do you think about them pitting Sainz and not doing a double stack?
I don't know. I read a lot of stuff, watched a lot of videos just to see where he was on track.
Okay. And
I gathered that he had 5 seconds. Well, the team had 5 seconds from the safety car being deployed to Leclerc coming to the pits. They had 5 seconds. I know it sounds a lot of time, but it's really not a lot of time to react.
Yeah, in Formula One.
But on the broadcast, they were saying that when the safety car came out, it was 5 seconds. But when they saw Ocon slowing down on the main straight, it was more like 11 or 12.
Oh, they could have taken the chance.
To the pit lane, from them to the pit lane.
They should have taken the chance. If you ask me,
I think so too. They should have double stacked.
Yeah, where that Alpine car stopped, there had to be a safety car deployed on that. They saw him slowing down.
You can see that from the pit wall.
Yeah, from the initial broadcast, on the camera view, on the broadcast, they're saying he's going to be stopping either on the main straight or he's going to block the pit lane.
Yeah,
so they're going to have to do a safety car.
He was a sitting duck too, Leclerc. It was a sitting duck. It was just a matter of time. And it's kind of annoying because you can't blame Sainz for not following team orders, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he made the right call.
Yeah. I agree. They would have lost the win.
For sure, they would have lost the win. This is what we're talking about with the strategy. Why would they even put that in their minds? Okay, no, you're going to give them a 10 car window to get pull ahead. It's well, then Carlos is I'm going to be racing with 4 guys. What's the point?
Yeah.
I'm on the better strategy. I'm on better tires. Yeah. Why would you have me let him go ahead? That's ridiculous.
They're delaying the inevitable. I figured they're delaying the inevitable. He's getting a pass. We all knew he was getting a pass. 100%. There wasn't there was 2 laps left. There was 10, 15 laps left, maybe more.
Yeah.
So it's come on.
It was definitely going to happen, and it's not like he didn't put up a fight, even on old hards.
Yeah.
He still put up a pretty good fight with Hamilton and
Yep.
Perez. He was still
This is
in
where
the hunt, and he also didn't have a front end plate, which was
yeah, true. But he was fat. So even before safety car, we hit the Ferrari had a 1-2. I think Leclerc was Sainz to Leclerc.
Yeah.
Because I think Verstappen he had a punch or something, and he had problems all race. But instead of working together to get ahead farther from Hamilton, they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
Why?
That's exactly
why are
what
we fighting each other?
Yeah, that's what Andrew was saying too with the sprint race yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fighting each other. They let Max pull away. If they had the same pace as they did today, if they had that yesterday too,
they could have been a 1-2.
It could have been a 1-2 start.
Easily. Yeah.
And just make it a lot easier for themselves and not have to claw their way back like they did today.
Yeah, I agree. It's just these we talked about last podcast is these are the difference between championships and second place. Yeah. These moments here.
Yeah. And Andrew and I were talking earlier, talking about how every race, like if you look even at last season with Verstappen and Hamilton coming neck and neck on points in the last race of the season, like you have these races where Leclerc could definitely be finishing second or third, right? If not first, but he's getting fourth, fifth. Like those points, like 2-3 points in Formula One matter. And we're saying it like with other sports, like basketball, it's not over till it's over. Football, seconds matter.
Right? Look at last year. Look at the gap last year between Hamilton and Verstappen. Exactly. It was up one, down one. Next thing you know, last race of the year, tied in points. Tied in points. So
crazy.
Even when I look back to Montreal too, okay, you started 19th. I get it. You have, if not the best car on the grid.
Yep.
There's no reason why it shouldn't be on the podium. I think at least. There's no reason why.
But the strategy was just I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Ferrari, like we were saying, are they trying to do too much, or do they deliberately just want to not win?
I think it is.
It seems like it sometimes.
I generally think it is. They aren't used to this position, right?
Okay.
They aren't used to being the best team. They haven't been a decade now.
So you think it's inexperience?
I do think it's a lot of inexperience.
Okay.
I do think it is. I just think that I know the team's been on forever, but just the people there right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to juggle two drivers who want to win.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't do that. You got to put one first. Sainz is gonna have his chances, like he did last weekend. He's gonna have his chances, but you got to focus on the team. And I heard Binotto say yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard this, but he goes, "Well, the constructor championship for the team is more important, like really important too. We're focused on that too." And I'm like, do you remember who won the championship last year, or do you remember one of the constructors?
Yeah, exactly.
You only remember who won the championship, so it's like I don't know.
And we've seen in the past too, especially with Mercedes and their dominance. You can have a number one driver who's like clearly your main guy, but your second driver can still get wins and support the team. So if they just make it known, okay, they don't want to come out and say it obviously because it's going to hurt the confidence of Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
But if they make it known that Leclerc is the number one guy and they push him more, doesn't mean Sainz that can't get wins. Bottas got wins.
Yeah.
When Vettel was, fighting for his championship opportunities, Raikkonen was getting wins with Ferrari too.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
They could do the same kind of thing, I think, but again, they just don't. They're really indecisive. They don't want to come out and say, like, Leclerc's our guy, Sainz, you're taking a back seat, because that's just not going to look good on the team.
No, not at all.
They basically have to do that, like in-house at least.
Yeah, don't make that public, but just like each driver needs to know where they stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like right now we see Carlos, he's fighting with Leclerc, and it's clearly, like we said, it's affecting the team more than it's gaining anything. So I think that the biggest thing for Ferrari right now is that, like Andrew said, just put it all out on the table. It's 6-1, half a dozen to the other. It's like it's either the team is showing poorly and making poor decisions live on TV, or they just have to make the decisions in house. Like don't portray anything. Do everything that you can in house. Don't let anything go out to the news, the media, and then the team will feel good as a whole together. And then it'll show on TV.
I agree.
It's like, something definitely happened in the Ferrari pit wall. We're seeing the drivers they're not going head to head. They're respecting the positions. They're playing the T game as opposed to the one man mentality.
Yeah.
And not everyone can copy Mercedes, and I follow the same formula, but that they do. But you never hear anything leak out of Mercedes camp about conflict or Bottas is unhappy. Yeah, we see that in his post race interviews sometimes, but like damaging things don't leak out. They keep a tight ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you ever once heard this year anyone from the Mercedes wall or anyone in the actual
even Red Bull too,
or the Red Bull say George Russell is the number one guy this year? Because he clearly has been.
Yeah.
From a fan's perspective, from an actual stats perspective, he's got the most top 5 finishes this entire year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Lewis has what, 3 podiums in a row?
3 podiums in a row, yeah.
So,
I think 5 podiums,
which is great.
5.
But I mean, Mercedes is still just they're skating in there.
Yeah.
And I think that Russell, he made a mistake in Silverstone. Well, he didn't really make a mistake in Silverstone, but today he made the mistake, got the 5-second penalty with Perez, and I mean, it didn't really show. It didn't matter.
Still
He was still
back.
P4.
Yeah.
But, like, he's just having these consistent races, and you don't hear anyone say, "Yeah, no, Russell's our number one guy this year." But
this is.
I think he is.
I think he is. I think I don't know. You think he is, but then Lewis comes back with a 3 podiums in a row.
Yeah.
You know, in Silverstone, he should have won. He could have won in Silverstone. If Ferrari didn't make the calls they made at the very end, he should have won in Silverstone.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
If Ocon didn't stop on the track, he probably would have won Hamilton.
Yeah, he could have had a chance. Yeah,
I think he had a very good chance. I just go back to the days of Rosberg and Hamilton. You know, you had 2 number 1 drivers in their eyes, and look what happened.
Yeah,
they caused more damage than good, if anything.
And that's a great point, actually, Frank, because that's kind of what's happening with Sainz and Leclerc. They haven't touched, but they're bound to make contact. They almost made contact in Silverstone.
Yeah,
when Sainz overtook Leclerc after the safety car.
It's
inevitable. It's inevitable.
Not a matter of when, not a matter if, it's a matter of when. I think those 2.
Yeah, and like I said before, like Sainz doesn't want to hear the number 2 driver. He won't. If they do make that announcement or they do come out with that, he's gonna obviously like fight that pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
young feisty driver, and Ferrari kind of did it to themselves too. They got two younger guys that are hungry to fight and prove themselves in the sport.
Yeah,
it's not like they have the older head like Vettel and Leclerc, or
which Ferrari normally,
they normally do. Yeah, like Raikkonen and Leclerc could be together, or could have been together before.
Yeah. So
I think it's kind of their own doing, and they just gotta have take time to figure it out and sort it out amongst the team.
And maybe who knows, after the summer break, it's gonna come back and there's gonna be changes that happen. Maybe, who knows?
It's gonna have to be.
I hope so. I hope so from your standpoint, Frank.
Yeah, I know.
He seems so butthurt, but you just had 2 back-to-back wins.
I know.
But it's like it could have been better.
That's a true Italian fan, though. Like you're not satisfied with anything. Like you win, and you're still unsatisfied.
You see the bigger picture, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
You see, you can. I use this term. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, right?
Yeah.
It looks good in front, but when you start breaking down the layers and you see, okay, there's problems, and the team does have problems.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought
you're getting wins, but
I thought after the reliability issues were sort of done, but after today it's like, and as soon as Sainz was out of the race, all of a sudden, like, maybe a lap later, you hear Leclerc's radio come on. I'm like,
I honestly thought that was maybe just like some paranoia from Leclerc.
Yeah,
but there actually was an issue, and they were saying on the announcers, Crofty was saying that Leclerc is using his right foot to pull his pedal back up.
Yeah,
like, could you imagine having to do that though?
No,
like going that fast, that's insane. Like skillful, that's insane.
Yeah,
but they were also saying that if the stewards get a hold of hearing that, they might tell him to retire the car because it's a safety for other cars.
Oh,
they were saying you don't want the stewards to hear that.
And then
that's what
that would have happened.
But that's what the Ferrari team was telling him to do.
Yeah,
like, no, just lift it up with your foot. Like, what?
I don't know if they would have gone to that.
They
extent,
wouldn't have. That's pretty. Like, he clearly looked like he was in control, but you did see him losing. He was losing lap time to Verstappen big on the final lap.
Yeah,
I think it was turn 3. He was having a hard time because he couldn't downshift because the throttle was still engaged. So he was having a hard time downshifting the vehicle.
Turn 3 is going up the hill, right?
Yeah, and he was having a hard time with that because it was so tight he couldn't get down to gear.
It came from 3.5 seconds to under 2, and then the last lap or so.
Yeah, Verstappen brought it down to like 1.8 or something like that at one point. But
you got to think Leclerc slowed down too. He slowed down at the end
too, man. Like
the last turn, they're not going full throttle. They slow down too. So it's, but did you guys see what Alonso did to Tsunoda?
Yeah, I give him the finger.
Did he?
Not the finger, but like he gave him a little wag.
He's like this. Also, he turns over. He goes, "One of these to Tsunoda."
Tsunoda, Alonso's trying to make that pass after the turn 3. Like, no, there's another DRS straight.
Yeah,
and Tsunoda just like squeezed him off the track into the grass. And then Alonso like pulled alongside and gave him a finger wag and said like, "Don't
Hey.
do that." And then he passed him. Hey, there we go.
There you go.
That's a sick hat, Frankie.
Right?
The Alonso guy too.
Where'd you get that
No.
from?
Actually, funny story. Off topic again, but
Why does it still have the tag on?
because I don't think takes off stuff.
One of those guys.
I don't wear it.
You got a big shoe collection too that you don't wear?
I actually do.
Is that when he was at McLaren?
No, this is his.
That's a rally hat?
No, Kimoa his brand.
That's his brand, okay.
Yeah,
Does
I think
say
they still
McLaren
wear
on
it.
the side?
McLaren. Yeah, it does say McLaren.
Oh, does it?
So that was when he must have been at McLaren or something.
Maybe, I don't know. But
That's a sick hat.
it was like $60 a bay, and there was a little damage to it. I was like, "Oh, lady, you do a little better for me." Like, come on, it's a little damage. She goes 20%. I'm like, come on, you can do a little better than that. Like, do a little more. It's fine. I'll get you for $40. I'm like, perfect. What do I sign?
Yeah. You're like, this is way more than 20% damage.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
at the race. They're $120 for the race in Montreal
What?
for that
For a hat?
very similar hat. Oh yeah, they're $120.
How much was a beer there, Frankie?
$9 for a Heineken can, but there were 325 mils, not even 355.
Oh,
They scum.
I know.
What a
bro.
scum. That's
I know it's
When I
bad.
went to the Toronto FC final, the
Mhm.
MLS Cup final a couple years ago,
Mhm.
I got two tall boy. They were King cans actually.
well, the King cans.
Two
like-
Budweiser King cans cost me
Yeah.
$34.
Did I tell you when I went to Comerica Park and I bought the baseball bat? Frankie, remember when I bought the
Yes.
bat at the
That
Tigers
was like
game?
$36 enough.
It was like $36 this bat. Okay, listen. So then Frankie and I, we buy a normal size draft beer, pour it inside the bat.
Oh, you
Dude,
bounce it out. Oh,
Dude,
you-
there was only this much left from the top to the bottom. So they scum me like 25. Remember, it was like $25
Oh,
was the
yeah.
difference between
Easily.
a draft beer and the bat. But
That's
there was
ridiculous,
only
man.
like this much difference of actual beer.
that makes me sad.
It was disgusting. And then I gave the bat to a child.
Did you?
I did, yeah. And then the parent
Wow.
threw it in the garbage immediately.
I thought you were like some like creepy guy. Like,
Yeah, they're like, oh,
here, little kid. Here's a bat.
here's some beer.
Oh, that's so funny.
I don't know. I hate the rip off.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
yeah.
scam.
But
of,
I mean,
Yeah.
at the same,
sporting
you
events.
go even the hot dogs at Comerica. We went to the concert on Friday, right, Frankie?
Oh yeah.
And, it was great. But we had like ballpark Frank hot dogs, were like $6.50 a hot dog. I'm like, it's a hot dog. I'm done it in like 20 seconds.
$2.
Yeah. You bought two
$2.50.
packages for that.
That's gross.
Anyway.
Do you guys see? I don't know if you guys saw what happened at the track in Austria. I guess F1 posted something about
Okay.
fans.
I heard something.
Yeah, so I dug a little deeper, like reading some comments of like people underneath and like what was going on. And I guess like you obviously know it's all Red Bull fans, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
wearing orange for Verstappen fans. I guess there's some Mercedes people there, like wearing Mercedes hats and stuff, and they're dragging through the mud through the ground.
Way.
And like they're beating their ass or something, and yeah, it was pretty bad.
Dude, that's wild. You never hear about stuff like that happening in the UK because everyone's pretty
Well, it's like hooligan shit.
pretty one's like usually like even keeled over there. But like
Yeah.
dragging someone through the mud because they're a Mercedes fan.
That's like Brazilian Boca Juniors. Like
That's,
like they'll kill you. And that's like
that's crazy, man. The Dutch fans,
Yeah.
or I don't even know what they would be. The Dutch fans,
Dutch,
the
yeah, they
German
travel.
fans.
They
Yeah,
travel
they're-
hard.
They travel hard. Yeah. But what happened at Silverstone? Something happened at Silverstone too, where the fans were.
A protest
Who-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
walking out. They went on the track.
They
Yeah.
they got onto the track and they got it was actually really lucky because they think they intended on getting like onto the track during the actual race.
Oh,
But it just so happened that the red flag was a red
From
flag
Joe.
time.
Yeah, from
So,
Joe.
like, when they did get on the track, the red flag was on. So like there was no cars going by, but they wanted to be on like during the race.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they got
like-
so lucky.
Thank God the
No, they-
broadcast didn't show it either. Like they
You see, like,
Speaking of protests, did you guys see the protester that went on stage during that 4th of July hot dog eating contest?
yeah,
yeah.
And Joey Chestnut, he had like 6 hot dogs in his mouth. His cheeks are blowing
yeah,
up,
yeah.
and he just grabs the guy in a headlock and
He
throws
hogtied
him
him.
off the stage. The guy had a broken ankle too.
did he?
No, Joey Chestnut did. He
Oh my
ate
God.
63 hot dogs with a broken leg.
That's pretty
Incredible.
Can you imagine 60 hot dogs in under 10 minutes?
10.
That's insane.
63 hot dogs.
10 minutes. Frank.
Six dogs a minute.
That's nuts.
We'll get back to Formula One though. Sorry, I just thought we're talking.
Yeah,
about protests.
no.
We're talking about protests.
Oh my god.
Well, it's big because it's very dangerous. You know,
Oh,
it's
100%.
everyone. Like
Sure.
those cars are going around that bend like 250, 260. It's like you hit one of those people, whoo!
They get blown
And
apart.
it's not like they're like during the red flag too. Yeah, but even if they're under safety car, they're still going relatively fast.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Safety car's flying, dude. But anyway, yeah. Well, this race was it wasn't uneventful. Like stuff. We kind of covered it all with what happened with Ferrari today.
Yeah.
But even Perez and Russell made contact at the beginning. I do think that the Russell penalty was deserving.
Yeah,
I think it was.
He did give him a car's width, and Perez was actually ahead in the corner.
It was 100% Russell's fault.
Yeah,
100%.
I completely.
And it's kind of annoying because now Perez is out of the race. He loses out on points. And now Russell's in
finishes
fourth. Yeah, fourth.
I hate that. I don't
see. Honestly, man, I think that the 5-second time penalty, like I understand that maybe for track limits, but for collisions, it's got to be up it to 10 or 15. Like Hamilton only got 10-second time penalty for his collision with Verstappen last year in Cops.
I don't even mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind that there's I don't mind the 5-second penalty, but I would appreciate
don't
it
do
more
if
it's at the end of the race.
Yeah.
If you can't,
don't do a stop.
Yeah, if you serve it during the pit stop, I don't like that because then another caution like 20 laps later just negates that completely.
Yeah. And you can honestly strategize. You can strategize with your 5 seconds.
Yeah, like too. keep driving your race. If you finish in second place, that's great. But if the next guy's 2 seconds behind you, then you're dropping back.
Yeah.
So the 5 seconds, you can serve it if you want to after the race, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
You can whatever you want.
Or you can do a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, either the pit lane or afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think my thing is it should be those types of incidents happen often. They're not uncommon. These incidents.
No.
Have a minimum 10-second stop-go penalty.
I like the 10 seconds. I like the 10 seconds.
You can't touch the tires. Can't touch anything. 10 second at your pit box. That's it.
Depends if it's declared racing incident, then whatever, different story.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was an actual instigation with Russell, like he caused the penalty, he caused the collision. I think 10 seconons stop through, Frankie, would be good.
Yeah, 5 not enough.
Yeah, and you know what you should also do? Enough. You know what? You should not be able to change your tires.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, right.
Don't change your tires. No, it's your penalty. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yeah. You caused an accident. It's out of luck. It's not fair that
now Perez had to retire eventually.
Yeah,
which I think is not. Which is
it was like similar to Hamilton and Verstappen last year at Silverstone too.
With when Perez
Hamilton got a 10-second penalty for wiping out Max.
Yeah,
and then he still ended up winning the race.
Exactly.
How did you even
the punishment doesn't fit the crime?
Yeah, how did your 10-second penalty? Because there was yellow flags, there was cautions, there was safety cars.
Yeah.
It just negated that 10-second gap that Hamilton had.
Yeah.
And he passed
back in the race.
And he passed Leclerc to win, so I wasn't too happy with that.
Yeah.
Didn't Leclerc have a problem in that race too?
I think so.
I
think he was just on really his tire management.
Just tires?
The tires were just
Hamilton, he was too strong.
So what do you think Ferrari has to do like the next couple of races to like solidify themselves? Because if it's not a durability issue, it's a strategy issue. And for them to like excel as a team and to get that P1, P2 finish that they want, what has to happen?
That's a great question. Look at today, for example. There are a lot of positives from Leclerc. He did overtake Verstappen on the track 3 times. I understand he's on different strategy, but he did overtake him.
Yeah, but you know what though? Ferrari's pace was definitely better than Red Bull's today.
Yeah.
Easy, and it was noticeably better. Yeah. Noticeably.
Yeah, and you know what? It's bad to say Verstappen, unless he has a problem, you don't pass him. He's a very hard driver to pass. Yeah. So I look at that as a good thing. Look at Sainz in Montreal. Could not pass him. But Leclerc did here. I know it's different, but you still got to take it with it as it is. I just finish these races, even top 5. Get the points, get the Hall of Points. Keep winning some races. I think they got to just keep. I would say keep doing what you're doing, but
at the same time, though, the drivers just need to keep doing what they're doing. But I think the team needs to sort out the issues. Between the drivers, because the drivers are driving. All they're doing is like they're getting great positions in qualifying.
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to the race, the strategy's failing them. So the drivers are doing all that they can do, all that they need to do, but with the information that they're getting from the team and the decisions that they're getting from the team. So the drivers don't need to make a change. I think the drivers just need to keep doing what they're doing.
One thing Mercedes used to do with Bottas and Hamilton is each weekend they would alternate like who has the better strategy.
Okay.
So
toe in qualifying, maybe.
Yeah, that was toe qualifying. So this weekend Sainz gets it. Next weekend Leclerc gets it. Start do something like that where you alternate weekends, and if Leclerc keeps outperforming Sainz, you say, "Hey, listen, Carlos, you know what? Look, the facts are here. Results are here. You're not doing as good as Leclerc is. We're gonna keep you back a little bit and let Leclerc do what he has to do for the championship. If you can't understand that, okay, you know what? Find someone else. Sorry, we'll find someone else.
There you go. That's a good point.
Mick's looking really good. So
he is looking really good.
Can you
imagine he went to Ferrari? Schumacher back at Ferrari?
No, he's not gonna go. He's
That'd be so cool.
I like Mick a lot, but I also don't think he has
the Ferrari. He doesn't have what it takes. I mean, hey man, it's only his second year in Formula One.
He showed up this weekend though.
He was battling it out with Hamilton.
He did, yeah.
Weekend.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Just you know when a driver has it, right?
He came in 15th today.
Who did?
No,
that's driver standings. Came in 6th.
6th and 8th they finished the Haas.
6 today.
Yeah,
it's on the dock.
But yeah, now he's in 15th place for a drivers' championship.
Yeah.
But the big thing too is Haas. They passed AlphaTauri in the constructors.
Did they?
Yeah. I
Alpha,
think 31 and 27.
And I had big hopes for AlphaTauri this year. You know, the second year for Tsunoda, Gasly coming off a huge, successful season last year, and they just like shit the bed so hard.
You know what?
Haas. It wouldn't be hard to say Haas to pass Alfa Romeo. They're really only
Bottas had a hot start to the season
they're
too.
23 points down from Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
Wow. See, beginning of the year, I had AlphaTauri, the fourth best team, and now it's like, they've really fallen off.
No, and it's been a lot of reliability too. Like it's like the first couple of races in the season, Red Bull is kind of fucking up.
So right now, Frankie, as it stands, like Red Bull is up by 56 points on Ferrari. All right,
constructors.
And the constructors and then the drivers, I believe Leclerc's Verstappen's up by 48.
Okay.
So what do you do as like a team? Do you focus on like clearly Verstappen right now? He has a nice cushioning lead. Going into the next races, we have France. He won in France last year. We know that the Red Bull has great straight line speed. Plus, they're like wizards around high speed corners, right?
Yeah.
And Andrew and I were saying that Paul Ricard is a pretty similar track to Silverstone, we think, with
a lot of
high speed corners and the long straight. So if we saw the dominance from, it wasn't really a dominance from Ferrari, but like as a whole, the team was better in France. What do you think they do? Do you think that they go into like a strategy like you were saying, where it's like, okay, well, we'll have Leclerc get the toe, or we have Sainz get the toe today in qualifying, or do you think that they're just going to give it to Leclerc and say, here, you're the guy, you're the guy this week. We want drivers' points versus constructors' points. What do they want?
I think you go. There's no sprint race, right? Paul Ricard?
No.
It's done. Okay, so I think you go. You have 2 practices or 3 practices. Faster of the 2 in the practices. Okay, clearly, Carlos has pace this weekend. Give him the upper hand. Let him. If Leclerc does, give him the upper hand. Good. That starts off the weekend there. Who has better pace on the practices?
For sure.
It's just, I think it's just frustrating to have this discussion at this point in the season.
Yeah.
You would think it'd already be sorted by race 2 or 3, right?
There were just so many things that happened this year for Ferrari though, where it was like they should 100% be in the lead for the constructors and the drivers. Mm-hmm. Like no doubt in my mind. And
I agree.
Really, it shows on track that their car is superior to Red Bull most of the time.
Yeah.
When the strategy's not getting destroyed.
Yeah, they've had 4 DNFs due to their power engine for this year.
Wow.
How many has Red Bull had? 3?
I think Red Bull has 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also been more DNFs just come to racing collisions as well. Sainz binned himself 3 times.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. Australia.
It's actually crazy.
That was bad.
Australia and Spain too, right?
Yeah, Spain.
Yeah.
So that was just.
And he almost bent himself in Silverstone. He went off in turn 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does come down to drivability. It does come down to reliability as well. But I think we kind of touched on it a couple of times. I don't think Ferrari's ready yet. Leclerc might be ready to be world champion. I think he's poised enough to be a world champion driver, but he might just be ahead of what the team can provide him right now. And Max was in the same boat for a couple of years at Red Bull before they got past Mercedes finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he's ready there as a driver. The team's gonna slowly start to build up some steam and catch up to what he can do. And it might just be not this year. There's a lot of hype at the beginning of the season saying Ferrari's the best car out there. You know, they've adapted to the new regulations the best. Leclerc is like super hungry and eager to get going. Maybe we kind of like looked a little too far past like what they can do.
Honestly,
too anxious.
Yeah, but maybe it's just gonna be next year.
Maybe they just can't, like Frankie was saying. It's just Ferrari has not been in this position in so long.
Yeah.
Maybe they just might not be able to cope with it. Maybe
that's what it is.
With the pressure.
Yeah,
they can't
Mercedes
cope with everyone saying they're number one. They have the best car. They have the best two drivers maybe on the grid. You know,
Mercedes 7 years in a row.
They can't cope with it.
Yeah.
Mercedes 7 years in a row, constructors championship, correct?
Yes.
6 or 7.
And
before that, who was there? Horner with Red Bull.
Yep.
4 years in a row. 3 years in a row. So it's like he's been there, Horner. He knows what's going on. He had 2 drivers that were fighting with I think Weber and Vettel. Was it Weber?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
If you want to talk about like a very veteran team and they know how to win and how to like consistently win, it is Mercedes.
Mercedes.
I think that even this year, looking at their standings and understanding their problems that they've had porpoising and maybe even the internals of the team with Lewis and George or Lewis and Toto, because I know at some points they haven't seen eye to eye this year. Mercedes still put up 237 points. Now, their car for the majority, which is where we're at half the season right now, has been 3 to 4 seconds slower than the top 2.
Yeah, and
they've been consistently getting top 10s, top fucking 7s.
Go drivers.
You know what? After last weekend, I'll be honest with you. Nothing against Mercedes, but I was genuinely nervous. You know, like
Hamilton, I was too.
They're back, like they're here. But then I understood, like the track suits them, right?
Yeah, I don't want to discount them. I still don't because they're so weathered. They're just a weathered team. They know how to win. Toto knows how to win as much as he is Toto.
But then you look at today, and they were off the pace by 30 seconds, maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, they were off by a lot for sure.
And it's just each track's gonna suit each team differently, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Mercedes comes back next 2 weeks at Paul Ricard, and they have the same package that they had at Silverstone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And we could see some new improvements from them.
Yeah, definitely was a different package they brought to Austria because it's very undulated.
Undulated.
Very undulated.
Yeah.
Good job.
I can pronounce
Great in English.
But anyway. All right, Frankie, we're gonna wrap it up, brother.
Sounds good.
Thanks for coming on again. We'd love having you. You are officially a co-host of the BRZN F1 podcast.
Love to hear it.
Welcome to the show.
We're gonna see what Paul Ricard brings.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. It's gonna be a race.
I hate
I don't mind it. I like watching.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly.
Thank you. That's what I said.
It's
ugly. It's ugly trash.
Maybe it looks ugly with the white and the blue and the red.
Well, they showed the helicopter shot. And I'm just like, what is this?
It might be different though. Like Silverstone this year had some different camera angles that were pretty cool. Like Hamilton when he was passing Leclerc and Perez, that was a sick camera view.
That was good.
Nah, that was
perfect. Shout out to the cameraman.
Paul Ricard. Paul Ricard reminds me of. You know that tape like athletes put on their body, like that colored tape.
K-tape, what it was called?
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. The K-tape everywhere.
It's a damage. It's a damage track.
We're racing on athletes tape.
So quickly back to Silverstone. You know when Hamilton overtook Perez and Leclerc in that chicane? There's a video from when Hamilton was like a young kid driving in go-karts, and I'm not joking. It's the same move he made in go-karting when he made last weekend.
Really?
That's cool.
It's one of the coolest videos I've ever seen.
Frankie, send it to us. We'll post it on. We'll get it on our story.
Yeah, it's like a little track inside of a building.
Yeah.
And there's commentation. Hamilton and through goes Hamilton.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Send us that.
Okay, I'll send it to you for sure.
We'll get that on there.
Cool.
Okay, Frankie. Well, enjoy your
bike. All right, boys. Yeah,
All right, buddy.
I'm gonna be in Monza. I'm gonna be in Italy when Monza's going.
Stop.
Come on.
Yeah.
No way.
You guys living the life. Fucking
world
traveler.
We'll give him the account, the BRZN account. He can do some live stuff from Monza.
Yeah, if you want to record anything, you're going to be there at Monza, or you're going to be in Italy. Like,
well, I mean, in Italy.
You should go to the race if you're going.
I'm trying to get my who I'm going with to go, but they don't. Like, I don't have time. I'm like, guys, we're in Monza for the race. I gotta go. Are you kidding me?
Just go solo, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go solo.
seriously, I should.
Go solo just for the race day, even.
Screw a Malfis, go there.
There you go.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Cheers. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Frankie.
Always a good chat.
Yeah, he's always good. He's our Ferrari analyst.
Ferrari correspondent.
He's our guy. That's our guy. But yeah, no, good for Frankie. You could just definitely tell the excitement that he had with the Ferrari 1-2 the last 2 weeks. It's great.
Understandable. Again, another situation though where it could have been P1, P2.
Yeah, lots of points lost for Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
We were going to talk more about fantasy and give you guys an update for the leaderboards, but they are currently being updated, so we don't have access to them.
No.
So everyone that's doing well, congratulations, and you know who you are.
We don't know what that's like.
We don't know what it's like because we're clearly at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Liam and I aren't doing so hot.
We're
in our
not.
Fantasy league.
No, we
so.
took two different approaches, and we just decided to get all drivers good and just not waste any money on getting Ferrari or Red Bull as a team driver. So it has been working out, though. I do see a fluctuation in points, and I take Alfa Romeo as my driver, my team this week.
And I took McLaren, so McLaren finally showing up.
They did, yeah.
For me at least.
It's about time.
But well, because I think in these stats, if you have your turbo driver set for like the race,
like
winner,
my turbo driver was Leclerc right now. I had 120.
Yeah. So I mean,
did you get 120 also?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting the same amount of points. Remember last time we were talking about how it's different?
It was skewed. But see, I think it makes more sense to get better drivers than a team because you get more driver points than team points.
Exactly, and you can pick higher drivers that you know are going to finish within the top 7 at least. You know you can get those guys.
Yeah.
So just pick those drivers and say screw it to the team, guys. You can honestly, a cheap buy right now would be Haas because
they're still not being
updated, and Haas is rated as the lowest team. So clearly not with their P8 finish today for Magnussen. So
and Schumacher beat
and Schumacher, was he in top 10 again? I'm trying to allocate a race suit. I think I got my hands on one. But it's a matter of just getting it now.
All. Schumacher 6, Magnussen 8 for Haas. So whatever package they had for this weekend,
clearly
good
showing
on them.
up.
Yeah.
Clearly showing up.
Hopefully they can withstand that though. Like hopefully they can sustain having this good performance because it's always good to see more midfield battles. I mean the Alpines just tied the McLarens, I think, for constructors this weekend.
Yep.
So now they're kind of best of the rest, P4 in constructors. And speaking of Alpine, heading to their home Grand Prix next week. In 2 weeks.
I love the Paul Ricard circuit.
I
love it. It is so high speed. It kind of reminds me of Silverstone. I'm not gonna lie.
In a way,
it's just really big runoffs, but at the same time, it's a fast track.
It is
quick. Even playing it just on the sim or on the Xbox. Yeah, the sim with my controller. If you just play it anytime on Xbox or PS4, whatever you guys use, 5. If you're one of those rich people, playing it, Paul Ricard is a fun time. I think it's just such a high speed track like Silverstone. It's very similar, I think.
Yeah, I am with
long straights
with Silverstone and like you said, Paul Ricard kind of being similar. It's like the ode to, kind of like where F1 began. Like Formula 1 is like a British sport, French sport, hugely heavily dominated over the past decades and decades. So it's always good to go back to France. I think a lot of the drivers like it. Gasly, Ocon, obviously. Alpine again being their home track. It's kind of nice to see every constructor be represented a little bit in each race. Haas goes to Miami and Vegas next year. Alpine comes home to France. Everyone goes to Britain, apparently. And even today with the Red Bull, it's their home away from home. Red Bull,
it's Austria.
Is based in Austria, but then they also have the Milton Keynes operation. So.
Yeah. Do you want to know a little stat that I read at the beginning of the race? Is that the Spielberg Grand Prix is the biggest ticketed event in Austria?
Yes, I saw that.
It's kind of sweet. It must be really small.
Austria?
Yeah. There must be not a lot of things going on in Austria. Most of the time, a Grand Prix isn't your biggest event.
Well, they get 300,000 people.
Think about it.
The whole weekend.
Even I guess, yeah. If you're taking into the whole weekend as an account, right? How many people go to Anfield for Liverpool? 60,000, and that's one game.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that's madness.
I think Old Trafford might be the biggest.
Well, the Big House in Michigan,
113,000
people.
That's
and it sells it. It's the biggest stadium. If you got for all the overseas fans, Michigan Wolverines. College football is huge over here in North America.
Yep.
So yeah, the Michigan Wolverines football team. NCAA Division 1. It's pretty amazing.
And I think they
so
had
many people there.
I don't know if it was the actual largest attendance, but one of the top 5 or 10 attendances was, I think it was Real Madrid and Man United played there in a friendly a couple years ago, and it was like 115,000 for a soccer match, football match, soccer match. I think it was Real Madrid United. It was Real Madrid and somebody. Maybe it was Real Madrid and Liverpool, or I forget who it was. But they always do these like North American tours before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
They go to China, they go to Dubai, they go to wherever North American tours.
Yeah,
and they came through to the big house in Michigan, and 110,000, I think, 115,000.
Could you imagine even just being around that many people? Like, I went to a concert on Friday, the Chris Stapleton concert. It was like, I'm like, dude, there's got to be like 150,000 people. There's so many people. Like, they were shoulder to shoulder in the outfield at Comerica Park, like sardine cans.
How many was it?
30,000. Not even remotely close. But the amount of people that you're just like, wow.
Yeah, I can't even wrap my head seeing that many people. Like,
no.
Like visually, like you said, like it looks like you see people in the crowd. It's like there's 100,000 people here right now.
Yeah,
but like
crazy.
It's a couple thousand maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we have next week, 2 weekends? Next weekend.
July 24th.
July 24th
and
weekend.
then Hungary the week after. And then there's the break.
The summer break, the 3-week summer break.
Yeah. Hungarian GP and then Spa after that.
Oh, I can't wait for Spa. Spa's a great race.
In the next month.
That's good. So we have a lot of racing up. Still a lot of racing left in the season.
Yeah.
But every race counts up to this point. Yeah.
This is the official halfway point, I believe, of the race.
Yep.
Of the race season. Did they do? I don't know if it's the actual halfway for races, but they said
it's pretty close.
Amount of like laps race or something. They said.
Oh,
like I think Brundle was like,
sense.
They've raced X amount of laps, which is exactly half of like what the season is.
Oh,
but I don't know if it's actually like by race count how many they've done.
Well, each race is gonna have a different, but that doesn't make sense.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like let's say the total amount of races for the entire season is like 1,300 laps.
Okay,
they're at like. Why did I pick 1,300?
Well, there's 700.
They're at 750.
Yeah, 750. That was a terrible number. Like,
I know.
You could have said 1,000. Like, they're at 500 laps.
No, 650.
650? Yeah, 750 is 1,500.
Yeah, so let's say they've completed 650 laps of the 1,300 for this season.
Okay,
I think that's what he said. I don't know.
Something like that.
I could be hugely mistaken. I'm sure someone will correct me.
It'll happen.
Well, yeah. So, tons of racing left to do in the season, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Going all through Europe now, hitting the European countries, which is always good.
Yep, we got Suzuka this year too.
Yep,
it's gonna be great. I love.
The
Hopefully,
Dutch
Red Bull
coming up there.
Yeah, I don't know if Red Bull's gonna bring that cool aero package anymore. They're not with Honda.
Oh, that's true.
They're not paying dues to Honda anymore.
Singapore would be a fun track to go to again too. I love Singapore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, China. Sweet.
What's Singapore?
Or Singapore, not China. Sorry, China was gonna be nice. I don't think they're racing in China this year though.
No, they usually hit China like early in the season, but they skipped it.
China's a great circuit. It's long, it's fast. Kind of reminds me of like Silverstone, Paul Ricard.
Everything reminds you of Silverstone, Paul Ricard.
Anything that is fast and just like high speed corners reminds me of that. But anyway, all right, guys. What's that? Zandvoort. Oh, that's the Netherlands.
That's gonna be a cool track.
That's gonna be a sick track.
It's always fun going back there.
The Orange Army.
Yep.
That was a great race last year too. Mm-hmm. Super cool track.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
I am good, guys. Right. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers.